In this tutorial, we will be solving another exercise about cumulative frequency. The maximum daily temperature is measured every day for 25 days. The results are as follows. And so if you take a look at this table right here, you can notice that it's separated into 25 boxes, each box containing a number. Well, this number is the temperature on a certain day. So we had 25 recordings on 25 separate days. Group the data into suitable equal-sized class intervals and draw a cumulative frequency graph. So what we're going to have to do is to start from scratch. All we have is scattered data, and we need to classify them in the table, and after that we need to find the cumulative frequency and then finally draw its graph. Well, as you can see here, you have all sorts of data varying along the 25 days. The first thing that you're going to have to do is to look for the maximum and the minimum. The maximum is obviously 24.6 and minimum is 15. So what you're going to have to do is to subtract the maximum from the minimum. So 25 minus 15 is 10. So 10 is going to be the range. And dividing the 10 by all 5, that would be 2. And so, let us go ahead and start with the table. First of all, the first column is going to have the temperature, and the temperature is going to be abbreviated as T. And so, T is going to stand for temperature. Now for the first range, I'm going to use between 15 and 17, since we're going to be jumping every 2 degrees. And so, for the second one, 17 to 19. After that, 19 to 21. Following that, we're going to have 21 to 23, and finally 23 to 25. Again, we used the whole jumping of 2 degrees since we had found the range and then subtracted the range by the 5 rows that we have used in this table. Now, let us go ahead and fill in the frequency. You need to look at each and every box and to count them and mark them to make the work easier, and finally write down the frequency. Use the same procedure for each and every temperature range and then fill in the frequency column. After doing that, you're going to have all of your frequencies filled in, and then you're going to be set and ready in order to add up the cumulative frequency. Now, we have worked with cumulative frequency before, and by now it should be easy. For the first one, it's going to be equal to 6. Then 6 plus 8 is going to be 14. 14 plus 5 is going to be 19. 19 plus 2 is 21. And finally 21 plus 4 is 25. So we have the table ready. Now what's left off is to go ahead and draw the cumulative frequency graph using the table that we have collected all the data from. And of course, we're going to be using the cumulative frequency and the range of the temperature of the days. Here you have the set of data that we're going to use for the graph, and let us go ahead and start with drawing the graph. For the x-axis, we're going to be implementing the temperature, and for the y-axis, we're going to have the cumulative frequency. And so, for the scale of the temperature, we're going to be jumping every 2, as we've said before. So we're going to move from 15 to 25. Now for the cumulative frequency, we started from 6 to 25. So we're going to jump also on a scale of 5. The title of this graph is going to be Cumulative Frequency Graph for Temperature. And so, for the first one, at the upper bound of 15 to 17, we had 6. The next one was 14. 19 to 21 had 19. 21 to 23 had 21, and the final one had 25. Now that we have the points, let us go ahead and connect them. This is basically the graph that depicts the cumulative frequency of the temperature along with the 25 days. Now let's go ahead and solve some questions on this graph. Part A says how many days the temperature was less than 20 degrees Celsius. And so it is asking for the number of days that were less than 20 degrees Celsius. So you need to go back to the graph and look at the temperature, draw a line up from 20. The point that it intersects with the line of the graph is where you need to go horizontally to the y-axis, and the point of intersection with the y-axis is the solution. We have intersected the y-axis at 17, so the temperature was less than 20 degrees on 17 days. Part B says how many days the temperature was above 22 degrees. So we're also looking for the number of days, but the days that the temperature was above 22. And so we know that the total days were 25. So we need to subtract 25 from the number of days that were above 22 degrees. Again, we go back to the temperature on the graph, and from the point of 22 degrees Celsius, we need to draw a vertical line. And of course, the point of intersection between this vertical line is where you need to go horizontally back to the y-axis. The given number is 21. So we need to subtract 21 from 25. The answer is 4. So we say that for 4 days, the temperature was above 22 degrees Celsius. Part C says how many days the temperature was between 20 degrees and 22 degrees. Again, you're going to have to do the same process. Look for the point of intersection between the temperature and the line of the graph, and then go horizontally back to the y-axis. Do this for both temperatures, 20 degrees Celsius and 22 degrees Celsius, and then subtract one from the other. The solution is going to be there. As for the 22 degrees Celsius, we had 21, and for 20, we had 17. So we're going to have to subtract 17 from 21. 21 minus 17 is 4. And so we say that on 4 days, the temperature was between 20 and 22 degrees Celsius.